Hi, today we have Maria Zane, CEO, President, and Director of bioAffinity Technologies, which trades on the NASDAQ under the ticker BIAF. Maria, thanks for coming all the way to Orlando to be with us today.
Thank you very much for having me.
Maria, bioAffinity is focused on addressing the urgent need for non-invasive early-stage cancer diagnosis and diagnosis of other lung diseases, such as COPD. Let's start with a brief overview of your operations.
Certainly. So, first of all, thank you very much for having me. bioAffinity Technologies is a early-stage company, but it has a commercial test for the early detection of lung cancer. Lung cancer is the leading cancer killer nationwide and, in fact, worldwide. One of the reasons that it is such a deadly cancer is because it's most often found in late stage. What we have is a test called CyPath Lung, and CyPath Lung is a non-invasive test to improve detection at very early stage. Our test, CyPath Lung, has been found in a clinical trial to have very high sensitivity, meaning very high ability to find cancer, but also very high specificity, meaning it also can determine that someone does not have cancer. And this is particularly important and particularly focused on people who are at high risk, so heavy smokers, and those who have small lung nodules. So ours is a test we believe can really make a huge difference in the diagnosis of our leading cancer killer.
Now, just how big is the market? It's a huge problem, of course.
Well, the estimates are that the lung cancer diagnostic market is about $2 billion in the U.S. I think that it is also important to remember that ours is a platform technology. And as a platform technology, what I mean is it's not only a technology that can help to diagnose lung cancer, but it also will be used and advanced as a test for helping to improve the diagnosis of COPD, of chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. And that's also a $2 billion market. We've also begun 2 small research studies with the Department of Defense through the Brooke Army Medical Center and Dr. Michael Morris. Those are looking at how we can use CyPath Lung even at earlier in the pathway, meaning before lung cancer screening. But they're also looking at the use of this technology for COPD. And we plan to, we're encouraged by the interest of the Department of Defense in our technology. And that's something from a market perspective that can be very important.
Maria, you've begun a test market pilot program for CyPath Lung in Texas. What can you tell us about this program and how it fits in with the commercialization of CyPath Lung?
Well, first, it's important to understand that CyPath Lung is commercial. It has been validated and it is offered by a CAP/CLIA, by a commercial laboratory in Texas called Precision Pathology Laboratory Services. As a laboratory developed test, it must be sold by the laboratory that has developed it. And so in doing so, we actually acquired that laboratory that gives us both the reach, resources, and indeed the revenues. We want to start in our own backyard. We want to make sure that what we have with our branding, with our outreach to physicians, with our market research is spot on. And I think that we've done that recently. And so what we are beginning now to do is to commercialize in Texas. And then after we complete that program, we'll look at a nationwide launch.
Maria, you and I were talking earlier about one of the reasons why lung cancer is so deadly is that it is too often found too late in the development. Why is early detection of lung cancer so important?
Well, let me give you a simple statistic to give you an idea of how important it is. Lung cancer, as you said, is most often found in late stage. And so the 5-year survival rate right now, overall, for if you are detected with lung cancer, is only 23%. But studies show that if we can find lung cancer in its first stage, in stage 1, and we treat it, that survival rate jumps to a 10-year survival rate of greater than 90%. That's the difference of what happens when you find lung cancer early. When there was a clinical trial that was done that brought us lung cancer screening for people who are at high risk, it's a very important trial. It was 53,000 patients, and in this trial they found that using low-dose CT for early detection of lung cancer, for screening of lung cancer, can lower the death rate by 20% because it can find it early. The issue with lung cancer screening is one that it finds lung cancer, but it also can call a number of things lung cancer or can be suspicious of lung cancer that are not, such that for every 100 people who get a positive or suspicious reading, only 4 out of 100 actually have the disease. That's where CyPath Lung comes in. CyPath Lung has been shown to have very high accuracy, high specificity, high sensitivity, meaning it can find that you do have cancer or you don't have cancer very well, particularly with people with small nodules. So nodules that are less than 20 millimeters, we have sensitivity of 92%, and we have a specificity, meaning we can determine you don't have cancer, 87% specificity. That's important, and that allows a physician and his or her patient to move forward with confidence whether or not it's an invasive procedure or it's a let's have a screen in a year from now.
So it sounds to me as though CyPath Lung is, on the one hand, more fine-tuned look at what's actually going on in the patient's lung. And let's elaborate a tiny bit more, if we can, on the non-invasiveness of it. I have heard, I think you were telling me, that a biopsy can be very difficult for an older person.
It's very important, should your physician tell you that you're at high risk and he or she wants to move forward, to listen to your physician's advice. And indeed, if a biopsy is requested or recommended, they should move forward with it. What CyPath Lung allows, though, is because you collect your sputum at home, so you're given a small cup, small box, you have a patient coach who calls you, who helps you to collect if that's necessary, and we get very, very good samples this way, but you're at home and that's where you collect your sample. Then the kit itself has a pre-addressed, prepaid FedEx envelope. You put the sample in and it goes to the lab. The lab then processes that sample, and within 3 days, your physician has a report which tells him or her whether or not there's malignancy, it looks like there's a malignancy present, or that it's a low risk. So the important thing here is CyPath Lung is additive to what the physician has in his or her toolbox for diagnosis. Right now, there isn't enough, we don't think. And physicians, when we speak to them, need more. And that's what this test provides. In other words, many people will have a nodule. They will get a low-dose CT or they will get some type of imaging, and they will see that there's something, we used to call it a spot on the lung. And sometimes it is large enough, or there's other characteristics that a physician knows what to do. But often it is what's called an indeterminate pulmonary nodule. And so the next steps are not as clear. And that's where CyPath Lung can come in and can really help. And in a non-invasive means, which means a lot to a patient. CyPath Lung is a test that looks at the lung microenvironment. In other words, it looks at how the lung is changing and has changed because cancer is present, a malignancy is present in the lung. It does this by looking at cell populations, at whole cell populations. And using an AI-driven automated analysis, we're able to very quickly, after a sample is processed, determine whether somebody is at very high risk and therefore should move forward with more invasive or aggressive procedures, or the individual is at very low risk and therefore he or she can go and wait to the next time they need to have screening.
Maria, turning now to revenue, I know it's a big thing with investors. Given the recent acquisition of Precision Pathology Laboratory Services and its immediate contribution to bioAffinity's revenue stream, could you elaborate on how this strategic move aligns with the company's long-term vision for enhancing its diagnostic capabilities, especially, of course, in relation to the rollout of the CyPath lung test?
So Precision Pathology Laboratory Services is an excellent partner, has been for the last 4 years in the development of CyPath lung. Ours is a laboratory-developed test, and indeed, Precision Pathology Laboratory was the laboratory that developed it with our help. Now, as we've acquired it, and it is now a subsidiary of us, of bioAffinity Technologies, we have the resources, we have the revenue, and we really have the reach to take CyPath lung on a national scale. We're starting, of course, in Texas. We're starting because of our commercialization efforts to understand how CyPath lung is accepted, adopted, and used by physicians in Texas. But precision pathology allows for a national sale of CyPath lung. So we're very excited. We're forecasting revenues from Precision of about $9 million. And that's based on historical revenues and their historical operations. So we're very pleased to have that part of Precision. But equally important are the individuals that come and the laboratory personnel and the professionals that come with Precision. So we're very pleased to have them as part of the bioAffinity team. And of course, with that comes Dr. Roby Joyce, who is also now a board member of bioAffinity Technologies. Dr. Joyce founded Precision. He remains as the medical director and also the laboratory director. So that is important in keeping continuity as we move forward and keeping the customers who are very, very pleased with Precision.
Tell us about some of the other key players on your team.
Yes, thank you. So we're very, very pleased at the people who we've been able to attract to bioAffinity. And if you talk to them, they will tell you that one of the reasons they came is certainly the management and the board of directors, but also it's the science. It's the test itself, and it's the innovation that we've brought. Ours is a science-driven company, and our chief science and medical officer is Dr. Vivian Rebel. Dr. Rebel is an MD, PhD, who spent 11 years at Harvard's Dana-Farber, where she taught, and she also had worked with the Livingston laboratory there, and then came to UT, where she had her own laboratory before joining us here at bioAffinity Technologies. So she has been the architect, really, of this technology. We're also pleased to have Mike Doherty, who has joined us in May. Mike is our Chief Financial Officer. He came to us from Amazon, where he was the CFO of the Alexa division. He has a strong background in financials and certainly an understanding of AI, which is a very important part of our technology. Our board of directors is stellar, quite frankly, and very much involved. Most important, our executive director, Steve Girgenti, was the founder and developed one of the largest medical marketing companies in the world, which was called Health World, and now I think is Ogilvy Health World. He brings to us excellent expertise and very much involved as we roll out CyPath lung. We're also very pleased to most recently welcome Dallas Coleman, who comes to us from Olympus. He indeed was the executive account manager for the respiratory portfolio of Olympus America's Therapeutic Solution Division. It's important because Dallas comes with a wealth of connections and a very stellar history in sales. So we're pleased to have him as our national sales director.
Why should investors take an interest in bioAffinity Technologies right now?
bioAffinity Technologies is addressing a critical need for early detection of lung cancer. Lung cancer is the leading cancer killer both in the US and around the world. And our technology can help to improve diagnosis at early stage, where it can make a difference, where it can mean the difference between a 5-year survival rate of 23% or a 10-year survival rate of greater than 90%. We need to catch lung cancer at early stage, and our technology can make that difference. In addition to which, ours is a technology that has a large addressable market. We're looking at a $2 billion market for lung cancer diagnosis. And remember, ours is a platform technology. So our next test we look to develop in COPD equally has a $2 billion market. So with this large addressable market and meeting a very, very important need, health need, we think we have a winner. We also have a clear path to revenue growth. We understand now the market, and we are building step by step to a national market and then to an international market for CyPath Lung. That's important. Furthermore, we are doing that with some exceptional people, both in our management and on our board of directors. And finally, I'd like to point out again that we're not stopping with lung cancer, although indeed it's an extremely important test. We're looking at other lung diseases like COPD, like asthma, and we're going to build those with collaboration. Right now, we have a collaboration with the Department of Defense on 2 small trials that we're doing for COPD and for CyPath Lung, and we hope to continue and grow with them.
Maria, this is truly a fascinating story that is going to hit home to a lot of people. Thank you for coming to Orlando today.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.